Hey friends, okay, let's talk about why I believe that really honing in on your unique identity, your unique message, your unique personality, soul codes, whatever you want to call it, is so important to attracting soul-aligned clients and showing up in your business in your full authority, in your magic and in your medicine, and sharing your message, right? So this is something that I feel like most entrepreneurs, I know I myself, struggle with in the beginning especially, is, okay, I want to do this thing, I want to provide this service, or I want to sell this product, but there are so many people already doing it, right? It feels like the online space is saturated with entrepreneurs or other healers or coaches or whatever who are already doing something similar to what you aspire to be doing, right? And so it turns into this kind of comparisonitis. Situation where it's like, well, who am I to do that? And how can I do that if there's already somebody else doing it? And we start to feel like, there isn't a place for me, there isn't a space for me, right? But this is really where it comes to that mindset and that remembrance that no one can do what you do the way you do it, right? There might be somebody selling something similar or already doing the thing that it is that you want to be doing, but no one can do it the way you do it. That's why your unique personality, identity, and your flavor of the thing is so important, is because there are people out there that need that portal to connect to the service or the transformation or the solution, right? And so when we get in this comparisonitis game with ourselves, what we start doing is we start looking outside of ourselves at all the other people, other coaches, or all the other healers or service providers or whatever it is. And when we're coming at it from that comparisonitis mindset, what we end up doing without even realizing it is we start conforming and we start shaping and we start molding ourselves into just different versions of the people that inspire us, right? We start adopting their language. I've done this, right? We start adopting their frameworks, the words that they use, their style of speech. Like, we start creating our product and offer suites to as modeled off of theirs, right? We start we're copycatting, for lack of a better word, which is just it's so funny if you could just kind of step back and take a breath and kind of observe that. Here we are, so afraid that we can't do the thing we want to do because somebody else is already out there doing it. And from that place, what we end up doing is just copying what those people are doing. It's so funny because that's our greatest fear, is that we're not going to stand out, that we're not going to be able to do it because there's, the industry saturated with people already doing it. And yet we end up just copycatting. We end up just dimming our light to fit in because we think that's the answer. If I just did it their way, or if I could just be like them, then I could duplicate their success, right? And it's so the opposite. No one can do what you do the way that you do it, and people need you doing it your way. Even if it's a similar solution or transformation or service or product or whatever, there are people that are going to connect to the way you preach it, teach it, right? There are going to be people that connect to the way that you provide it, the way that you serve with it. And so your traits, personality, skills, your unique message and voice and presentation and transmission, that's a portal for people, for the soul-aligned people that are ready for you, right? Because, there might be someone else in your niche or whatever that is selling a similar solution or a similar product or service as you, but there are people following them that are like, yeah, I know I need this, but it's just not clicking, something's not right. They're waiting for you to do it the way you do it, you know what I mean? So I just want you to take a minute and kind of check yourself and go, okay, if you're someone who's felt this fear of there isn't space for me in the industry, you know, kind of take a minute and examine your experience thus far in business and ask yourself, okay, but have I been somehow dimming my light and conforming in order to fit into the space that's already saturated, instead of allowing myself to stand out in it by just being myself, by bringing my unique perspective, approach, you know, methodology to the table, right? It's just so funny how we fear that there isn't space for us, and from that fear, what we actually end up doing is just conforming to the space instead of bringing our unique contribution to the table, which is what is needed, right, to diversify the space. And that is why I really believe that owning your magic in medicine and really getting clear on your message, on your perspective, on what actually makes you different. And that doesn't have to be huge, you guys. It just has to be something that you can own. It just has to be something that you can show up in and advocate for and, you know, speak to and feel confident in, right? So that's what makes the difference. And that's what makes your offers, and that's what makes your brand feel magnetic, is because you have that thing that you are fully invested in, that, you know, perspective, methodology, whatever. You have the unique positioning or message that you are fully in belief of